Eastern Illinois head coach Adam Cushing. Panthers already played a game. They played the week 0 against Indiana State this past weekend in Terre Haute. So right back at it, they're going to play FBS South Carolina. That's Saturday night, 6 p.m. Central, ESPN Plus. So, Coach, I guess just thoughts. So you've already played a game, and you're into another one different than every other OVC team so far. But just some thoughts, and then we'll go into some questions.
Well, it's always good to go out there and play football. That's why we do this thing. And I talked to some guys after the game. I talked to the media after the game, and what we saw in the video held true. We didn't make the plays that winners make. We did a lot of really, really good things, and we played some really good football out there. We didn't take the ball away, and we gave it away. And when you do that, you're not going to win a lot of football games. When you lose the turnover ratio and points off of turnovers, it's difficult to win games. The cool part is we get to go back to work, and we get to go back to work with a team that they all went out there and showed what they're capable of. And so we just have to clean up those details. And that starts with us as coaches, right? Those turnovers, they got to make the plays, but that's on us as coaches, putting them in better positions to not create the turn or to cause the turnovers on our end or create them on the defensive end. So it's a great challenge for us this week. Obviously a heck of a football team we're going out to play in South Carolina, but we're focused on us. We just got off the practice field, and we're focused on our ability just to go 1-0 today and on every single play.
All right, we'll open up the questions. I know Dan's with us. So, Dan, if you want to go ahead, you can ask as many as you got.
All right. Morning, Adam.
Morning, Dan.
All right. So you mentioned, you were able to see the tape. So who are some of the younger guys that maybe you were pleasantly surprised by that kind of stood out?
Well, Harrison Bay Bowie on offense, 32. He hadn't played any college football yet. He's not necessarily a young guy, but he hadn't played any ball yet for us. And I thought he went out there and ran hard, did some nice things for us on the ground game. I felt like Aaron Folks played well at receiver. Tyler Ringwood's an older guy, but he's a newcomer to us, right? He's new to our football team. Obviously, did some good things. Defensively, I mean, it's kind of cast the same characters. A guy like Kalen Drakeford had a really nice game after starting all spring and came back and repeated that performance. And then there's those linebackers, right? You saw Jason Johnson, you saw Colin Bohannock, and then, the other name that was thrown in there was Phoenix Porter was out there. You kind of saw a good 3-man rotation going in there. And I think that allowed those guys to play as hard as they could. I think we did a nice job as coaches. The best thing we did was really make sure that our players were ready to make plays in the fourth quarter. You saw a 19-play drive in the fourth quarter from our offense, and our defense only played 6, got off the field when they needed to. That's probably the best thing that we did as coaches was make sure that we had the right guys ready to make plays in the fourth quarter.
How did you come out health-wise? And then is there an update on Jalen Benefield?
We came out good health-wise, honestly. Really, really pleased. I mean, I think that after that first football game, everybody remembers that feeling. Everybody's a little sore, right? But the guys that went in there are all in good shape, and we're hoping to get Jalen back soon. Here, we're still kind of waiting on him just to take that last step here in some of that stuff. So I think we're not too far away.
And then I talked to Tyler Hamilton at the end of last week, and obviously this is kind of a homecoming game for him, being from Hilton Head. So, I know it wasn't planned around him, but kind of a nice benefit.
Yeah, he's excited. He's excited for sure. And Tyler had a nice game, did a couple of really nice things for us. And I think, coaching staff on offense did a nice job of utilizing what he does best. And I know he's excited about an opportunity just to go home and play. It doesn't matter if it's an FBS team or a Pop Warner team, when you get to go home and play in front of your family, it's an exciting thing. And then Tyler's a great, great young man, has earned this opportunity to go play in front of his family.
I got one more for you, and then I'll get out of the way if other guys want to ask things. But it's being reported that Zeb Nolan's going to be the starter for South Carolina. You know much about him?
The only thing that we know, obviously he played a little bit this spring, right? He and one of our staff members was actually on the staff at Iowa State when he was recruited there, so knows him as a person. He's a great, great, great person. I don't know him personally, but that's all the reports. And obviously, I mean, you talk about a dream come true. I don't know that I got any snaps left in me, but pretty cool that a coach gets to go, hey, hold on a second, maybe I'll just play a couple more. right? But please don't ask me to go out there and take any on Saturday. I'd be in trouble.
Thank you.
You got it.
Coaches, how about a little bit more on South Carolina? Obviously, anytime you play a team that's got a new head coach, you don't know what you're going to expect. But just any thoughts on them?
Well, you're right. There's a new head coach, but when you look at the pedigree of their coaches, right, where their coordinators are from, and obviously Coach Beamer himself, I mean, they're going to be a well-coached football team. That much we know. We obviously it's a little bit of a guessing game in terms of what schemes, so it's a great opportunity similar to this past week. Just focus on us. What we do know, probably a little different than our first opponent that hadn't played football in a long time. We do have a really good idea about their personnel, and they're good. They're pretty darn good. They got backs, they got receivers, their O-line stout in there, right? Obviously, with the final question being answered on offense of who's going out there at Q, that they got a really good chance to be explosive on offense. Defensively, I think they got a first-round draft pick on their defensive line. I think the other end's pretty darn good too, right? They got a corner. I mean, it's across the board. What I think is most impressive about them, they got a bunch of talent, and then with Coach Beamer and his staff, they're going to be so well coached. It's going to be a heck of a challenge.
FBS versus FCS aside, is there anything to be said? They haven't played since the fall, and then you all just played, and you played in week 0. Is there any advantages or positives to that, and keeping momentum and learning the playbook and stuff like that?
I certainly hope so. Yeah, I think that there is. We talk, and I talked to the team about it on Sunday as we were putting the game to bed. I said, the great teams make the most improvement between week 1 and week 2, right? And we really got to focus on what are those little places that we've got to overemphasize because we weren't good enough there, right? And we've been out there, we've seen the game speed happen, we've had the play clock running, right? I don't care how many times you run the play clock in practice, it just isn't the same, right? When the play clock's running, when people are having to communicate something that hasn't happened, right? Normally at practice, you're going to prepare guys for what they're getting ready to go out there and see, right? But then in a game, you can't prepare for what's coming, right? So we've had those novel situations thrown at us. So I hope that certainly some of that carryover is going to work to our advantage. Our guys just being able to take a deep breath and calm down. I think you saw that with a little bit of a few guys in our game this past week of guys not just trusting themselves early, but then as the game went along, we played better and better and better and better into the fourth quarter. Everybody was doing their job better.
Related, but maybe a little separate. Week 0 was what you played Indiana State. You got them in the schedule. Would you play a week 0 game again? Is it good? Is it bad? Was it just it was a game and you played it?
Absolutely. I love the opportunity to be one of the few teams that's on TV, right? Every college football fan is starved for football that first weekend and their opportunity to turn on football. And I mean, we've all sat there on the couch and just flip back between whatever game is on, and all of a sudden here's a really good football game that's going on in the second half, fourth quarter. I love the experience. I know the guys love the experience. I think I'm a big advocate for it just in terms of opening up another bye week. I think that's really good for the student athletes throughout the season. It does become a really tough thing physically and mentally, and having that bye week and being able to build in more days off for the student athletes as the year goes on just gives them a chance to be more successful academically, and it truly allows their body to be in a better position as the year goes. So I'm a huge proponent of it.
Anybody else? Anybody got anything else for Coach Cushing? All right, Coach. Thanks for your time. Best of luck on Saturday. We'll talk to you again next week.
Sounds awesome. Have a great one. Go Panthers.
Appreciate it.
See you.